Alright, for this week, we're going to kind of talk about the opposite of my week one video, where instead of having a ton of information systems in a car and everything like those guys over there, where they have very complex computers and lots of sensors, we're going to go over something really simple that's kind of old-fashioned technology that you only probably see in motorcycles these days. Cars have kind of weeded out and everything of it. But basically, a lot of the computers in the vehicle control the fuel engine management system, and they have tons of different maps and everything for how much fuel to put in with how much throttle. If you're going up a hill, how much fuel you need per air. But that whole computer system and all the sensors and everything used to be this guy right here, the carburetor. You're probably familiar with this if you've ever owned an older car, like pre-1985 or so. And that guy basically replaces the whole computers. He adjusts the fuel air mixture and everything for the engine to run, and they run pretty darn good. There's definitely big advantages to fuel injection, but kind of what it's like to live without information systems is what I'm gonna cover this week. And they made things a lot easier. They really did on cars, because if I take this into a different altitude setting of over 1,000 feet or so difference from where it's tuned to run, I have to go back and retune the fuel air mixtures on it, just because the air is going to be thinner and everything, where the fuel system in the cars and everything would just adapt for it because it has so many sensors. Another great advantage of the information system inside the vehicles that this doesn't have is starting. Starting on cold days is a lot easier because it's going to be perfect. Everything's going to be perfect. Fuel ratios, perfect measurements. It just makes it really easy to start up the car. And they're also going to run more efficiently on fuel, because we are talking about perfect measurements and perfect amounts here, perfect amounts there. We're only going to use what we need to use. So that means we get a boost in fuel economy, which also means less money. The good side of the old-fashioned way is cost and simplicity. These things are really simple if you know what you're doing. It takes you about an afternoon to learn how it works, and then they're cheap. So parts for them are really cheap. I don't need any super special tools to work on them. So the companies that make them get their money from parts and not labor per se. So when you take your car into the shop, you have to pay a lot of money to use their information system that tells the technician how to do the work, and the proper programs, databases and everything that they need to complete their work, because they've got to go in through, for example, if it's Ford has its own repair protocols that they have to look up. They do, and then they have their own Ford programs to reset the computers and everything like that. This, you don't need that. So, kind of a cool thing to look at what we had before information systems and how they're kind of still poking out in some industries today. Kind of a little interesting view into the past, but yet here we have a modern bike. So